As the train lurched forward, I settled into my seat, eager for the journey ahead. It was late evening, and the compartment was dimly lit by the soft glow of overhead lamps. The rhythmic clatter of wheels against tracks echoed through the carriage, creating a soothing backdrop to my thoughts. Little did I know, the tranquility of the journey was about to be shattered by a chilling encounter that would haunt me for years to come. As the train rumbled on, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. It was an unsettling sensation, like invisible eyes boring into the back of my skull. I glanced around, but the other passengers were lost in their own worlds, oblivious to my unease. Shrugging off the feeling as mere paranoia, I tried to focus on my book, but my mind kept drifting back to the sense of being observed. Hours passed, and the train hurtled through the night, its whistle piercing the darkness at regular intervals. I was on the verge of dozing off when a sudden jolt snapped me awakey. Glancing out of the window, I saw nothing but the inky blackness of the night. Confused, I turned to the person sitting across from me, but they too seemed unperturbed by the interruption. Just as I was beginning to relax, a voice broke the silence, sending shivers down my spine. "Do you believe in ghosts?" The words seemed to hang in the air, heavy with an otherworldly presence. I looked up to see a figure standing in the aisle, their features obscured by the shadows. My heart pounding, I struggled to find my voice. "Who are you?" I managed to croak out, my throat dry with fear. The figure stepped closer, their face coming into view. It was an elderly man, his eyes gleaming with an eerie intensity. "I'm just a fellow traveler," he said, his voice low and gravelly. "But I've seen things on this train, things you wouldn't believe." I felt a chill run down my spine as his words sank in. Was this man some kind of deranged lunatic, or was there truth to his ominous warning? Before I could reply, he turned and vanished into the darkness, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Unable to shake off the encounter, I decided to investigate further. I made my way through the carriage, my footsteps echoing in the empty corridors. As I passed each compartment, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if unseen eyes were following my every move. Finally, I reached the last carriage, where I found a door slightly ajar. Curiosity getting the better of me, I pushed it open and stepped inside. What I saw made my blood run cold. The carriage was deserted, save for a single figure sitting in the corner. It was the same elderly man from before, his eyes fixed on something beyond my line of sight. I approached cautiously, my heart hammering in my chest. "What are you doing here?" I demanded, my voice trembling with fear. The man turned to face me, his expression unreadable. "I'm waiting," he said cryptically. "Waiting for what, you ask? For the spirits that haunt this train to reveal themselves." I felt a chill run down my spine as his words sank in. Could it be true? Were there really ghosts on this train lurking in the shadows, just waiting to make their presence known? I didn't know what to believe anymore. Suddenly, the train lurched to a halt, throwing me off balance. As I struggled to regain my footing, I heard a disembodied voice echoing through the carriage. It was faint at first, barely audible above the roar of the train, but as I listened, it grew louder and more distinct. "Help me," it whispered, sending a shiver down my spine. "Please, help me." I looked around frantically, but there was no one else in the carriage. The voice seemed to be coming from nowhere, yet it filled the air with an overwhelming sense of dread. Terrified, I stumbled out of the carriage and into the corridor, desperate to escape the haunting sound. But no matter how far I ran, it followed me, echoing through the empty corridors like a relentless specter. In that moment, I realized the true horror of my situation. Trapped on a train hurtling through the night, with no one to turn to and nowhere to hide, I was at the mercy of forces beyond my comprehension. As the train rumbled on, carrying me further into the heart of darkness, I could only pray that I would live to see the light of day once more. But deep down, I knew that some encounters leave a mark that can never be erased, haunting us long after the journey is over.